The bubble's a metaphor. It's called FUGUM. It's not disrespectful. It's just meant to be that pause. Blow a bubble, exhale. But you know what? Your vibe is sacred, and protecting your time and energy the way Bitcoin does, it's just so important. And you know what? You just got to say FUGUM sometimes.
If Satoshi were around, it wouldn't have allowed it to blossom. I just thought of that.
Glad to be here, Stacy.
Thank you so much. It's so fun because we do our own podcast together called The Hive Minded, and we've talked so much on that. We've had so many laughs. We've met in person for the Bitcoin meetup we had in Chicago recently. Actually getting to talk to you today on the Bitcoin Nova channel to actually get to tell people just about you and what you've done. You've written a book, which, oh my gosh, why do I not have it pulled up right now? It's right here. There we go. Okay. This is his book, Bitcoin Not Crypto. I actually have one of your earliest copies, which we did talk about in one of our Hype Minded shows, which is pretty cool because it's got some little Easter eggs, sort of. What do you call them? I don't know. Early edit,
Mistakes? Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Um,
So that's his book, Bitcoin Not Crypto. It's super important for people to learn that. And starting this company, FUGUM, the creator of chewfugum.com, he's drinking from his mug right there. The memes are great. Talk about, your book for people. Let them know, a little bit about your book.
yeah. Well, thanks for having me on. It's nice to be on the big show. So thanks. Um, but yeah, I don't know. So to be honest, this book started off as a crypto investment book. And by writing it, it actually formulated my conviction in Bitcoin only as sound money.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, it really started off in like, because I have like all these notebooks from my earlier crypto investment days, right? Investing in all these tokens. And I was just taking all the knowledge that I learned from those and kind of just synthesizing it. And I was like, okay, well, this could actually be a book. People need to know this. But as I further distilled it, I'm like, no. And like sussed out all these ideas. I'm like, no, there's a line here. It's Bitcoin, not crypto. And people need to understand that there's a line. This isn't they're two completely different things. Yeah, so Bitcoin's the breakthrough in money and crypto is a marketplace of just tech projects, right?
I mean, it's crazy that you actually realized the title should change as you were writing it. That's insane.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I really started off, it was like gonna be just like my 2 years in crypto. Like was really the working kind of idea behind it. And I was just synthesizing all the notes that I'd taken. And as I did that and researched and kind of you know, went down the rabbit hole on some of these ideas or, questioned them, right? Because I assume you're gonna write a book, people are gonna question you on things, right? So I didn't want to put some bullshit out there. And in the process of doing so, I just strengthened my own conviction. Is just Bitcoin only.
So did you have to start over when you really made this?
There's 8 drafts. I have eight basically. Yeah. So I revised it 8 times, and
What was the original title going to be?
yeah, it was. I think it was just like my first 2 years, something like that.
Okay.
Like I didn't really get that far because I started writing in different tones. It's really weird. You start writing a book, and then you get to a chapter, and your tone kind of changes, and then you're like, shit. Well, this isn't consistent, and you go back, and it's just kind of like this iterative process, right? Where you just find the sweet spot, hopefully, that you just hope will resonate with somebody.
It would be funny to dig up those 8 old drafts and kind of watch your mind change through your writing.
Yeah, I've done it. It's pretty interesting. Like just even in the intro. Yeah.
It's like a writer going through the process and seeing them question themselves and be like, "Wait, now I'm contradicting what I just said," you know?
No, that's literally what it was. And like,
Wow.
because I remember like the first
Mhm.
sentence of like the first draft is something like the future will be more digital. That is my North Star. Blockchain technology, yada yada yada. Which I don't disagree with any of that. Like I don't disagree with blockchain as having technical advancements and all that, but it's not money. That I'm just trying to draw that distinction, right? That All these other things are centralized, pre-mined. They have boards, they have CEOs, they change their roadmaps, all this shit. Like I'm just trying to draw this line. And also that, um, just the way Bitcoin functions, it can build out energy infrastructure, all this other stuff that can benefit society, where everything else is just a tech startup that acts like some VC funded. Um, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you're into and you know what you're getting into, in my opinion, right? Like I'm not here to tell anyone what to do with their money, but it's not Bitcoin. It's not sound money for a digital age.
That's why when you think of the term crypto casino, there will always be people who go to Vegas and there will always be people who gamble because that's what they like to do. So if you're going to be gambling for fun and this is something you do with a portion of your earnings because it's excitement for you or you just choose to spend your money that way, to risk it. But the thing that people don't understand is it's so hard to think of Bitcoin when they think of it as the main crypto. And people that don't know much about crypto, they think Bitcoin is literally crypto. You always just think of it with the early tech startups and you think about, well, MySpace came around and then Facebook took over. So they probably think like, when's the next one? I'll get into the next big thing
Right.
and Bitcoin will be the old news or something. But once you start learning more about this, you realize that it is completely different than anything else. It can't be changed. Nobody has the power to change it, meaning that inflation doesn't exist in Bitcoin, where it exists everywhere else.
Everywhere else. I would just look at crypto as they're tech experiments, right? And they can be interesting, but they require trust in another system. And that system is still, entrenched in fiat as well. But it it just requires, I think it almost requires another level of trust. They'll call it trustless, but like how can Ethereum go from proof of work to proof of stake, and now whoever has the most tokens is getting the most tokens? Just sussing out those ideas, it was just, yeah, like there's only one. There's only one that makes sense.
Well, I think before Ethereum switched, because before so many people were mining Ethereum, and Ethereum used to be proof of work like Bitcoin is. And when that was happening, people thought Ethereum is the next Bitcoin. It's like the silver to gold or something like that. But I didn't know until it happened. And then people voted, and however it changed, and the community was very upset about it. They didn't want this changed to go to proof of stake, but it did. So, and Ethereum's got a pretty big market cap compared to all these other littler coins coming out. And when people make the argument that a new coin is, oh, this is Bitcoin in its infancy, this is a new, but you're right, it will never be money. It will never be valued as money. It could be inflated, it can be changed because as much as these coins are proof of work when they start out, like Ethereum was for so long, enough people get behind it, enough people manipulate the shareholders, whoever has the most supply. And that's why Satoshi left, because Satoshi left so he couldn't be manipulated, couldn't be swayed. But with Ethereum, it's like I watched that change happen and I watched it go to proof of stake. And that really made me realize that as much as people think any new coin can't be changed, you have some CEO there. You have a group of people that own whatever percentage of the coins, and they can be swayed and they could change the rules. And Bitcoin is a one off. It's like,
It is.
I mean, it can't be replicated.
Well, see, it can be, right? You could copy the code, but the thing is, you're never gonna have the network effects. You're never gonna have the first mover advantage. You're never gonna have all the things. You're never gonna have the perfect storm that made Bitcoin Bitcoin, right? And yeah, I think you're exactly right as far as like all this new tech and whatever, which again, like if that's what you're into, like I'm not here to tell anyone what to do, but just understand what you're getting into, that there are attack vectors, there are ways that people can be captured. There's ways that if they just break one law that they may not be aware of in some jurisdiction that changed, like next thing you know, it's just,
Yeah.
there's Bitcoin and there's crypto.
check out chewfugum.com. Life's too short to let the bad vibes stick. When life tries to drag you down, you don't fight, you chew. FUGUM is for the moments you'd rather keep your cool and let your gum do the talking. Because FUGUM is FUGUM, designed for those who don't follow. Check out the shop now with the link below. Also, they accept Bitcoin. Wear your vibe, show your style, and own the moment. Yeah, and it's too big of a network. It's too powerful, but too much energy backing it. You know, for anyone to, I mean, people have done the math on how much energy it would take to attack Bitcoin and change the rules of this game and, you know, change the supply of the coins and double it, whatever. For anyone to change the rules, it would take such an immense amount of money that it would cost, I don't know, like 50, I don't know how many trillions it would cost, but it would be a lot of money to try to attack Bitcoin. So I think they say it's more, uh, there's an incentive to just mine Bitcoin because if you're going to try to attack it, you're going to waste your time and you won't get the job done. So it's just not worth it. You know, there's people that are attackers would rather attack any other network or any other crypto, you know, any other place that has liquidity and try to attack that and steal it, you know, because Bitcoin is too strong. So it's a protector. It protects your time and energy stored in Bitcoin because no one can get in there and steal it. And I love to say that Satoshi's wallet is proof, you know, for anyone to think that Bitcoin can't is not secure, not safe. No one's been able to take a single coin out of Satoshi's wallet, and that's a bounty right there on the internet that no one can touch.
Right. I mean, that's massive. And you know, if Bitcoin does in fiat terms what um, we all expect it to do, he's going to be the richest person on the planet, uh, and not a single coin has moved. Which is, I mean, I think just the mystique and the disappearance of Satoshi is just whatever happened, right? Whoever they, he, she was. The fact that it's just they just left, right? And just went moved on to other things, right? I think is I don't know, the most one of the most beautiful things about Bitcoin as well. That and the difficulty adjustment are my two favorite things.
Exactly, me too. And I think that the part about Satoshi leaving, it actually gives me chills when I think about it every time. You know, I've been in Bitcoin how many years, but when you think about it, it's amazing because that is a when you've watched superhero movies growing up and you watch these movies as a kid and you think, you know, that's just make believe. But when you hear about Satoshi doing this and creating this and leaving with wanting no fame or power or not getting any credit for this, even if he were still around and able to take these coins and be like, hey, I moved them finally. It's like, how are you able as a human to do that, to stay away for that long and stay silent? How is that human? And how is that possible? So it just makes you feel like those superhero movies you've watched or stories you've heard as a kid. It is real, you know, and he is a superhero, like one that we actually got to have in our lifetime.
What like I don't know. I always think what just a funny what if. Like what if Satoshi was one of those people who mined on his GPU and his GPU is in some landfill and he's just so embarrassed he doesn't want to come forward. He's just like, God damn it. I did this, I swear. And like no,
I know, and you're like, "He's a superhero," and he's like, "I gave up on it. I'm done with this thing," you
yeah,
know? He's
I'm
like
sick of digging.
and you know what? I think like that. I thought a little bit that is hilarious, but the fact that he was so deliberate with his secrecy, you know, it's like you wouldn't be that secretive and hide your identity so well and your location and your IP address and, you know, for governments or anyone in the world, it's not just the United States, it's anyone in the world would want to know who is Satoshi. And nobody can figure that out. And he knew she, they, whoever did it, knew how and why to stay under the radar when even when it came out for many years, no one gave a damn about the price. You know, no one even looked at it for so long. So, but by the time they could, you figure they could find out where the first email was sent from, but this person hid it, you know? So even if, so it just seems unlikely that he just forgot about it because he wouldn't have been that good at it from the day one, from the first email to say, hey, I created this white paper.
The power of myth, the power of story, the hero's journey, like all this stuff that just taps into, the human like condition and like their love of a story. Like the Satoshi is just friggin' perfect. Like it just is perfect. And you know what? I personally don't think, I don't know if Bitcoin's the same if there is a Satoshi, like if we know who Satoshi is. And does the protocol change? No. Can it be changed? Can Satoshi change it? Absolutely not. But I think like part of the mystique or the myth, and now you have a person answering questions and all this shit. I think it's just beautiful. They stepped away. I think they had enough um foresight to realize that it was just another attack vector.
Yeah, when if you stick around, it's not good for it because then there's someone to target, someone to attack. But it's almost like thinking of Bitcoin. Okay, like when I first started learning about it, I would look at charts and I would try to chart Bitcoin specifically. And then I would kind of predict what the crypto would do based on Bitcoin, but everything was like, I'm looking at Bitcoin. And then I would like notice because I'm really into patterns and the golden ratio and Fibonacci spirals. So all these things are patterns in nature. So it's funny that if you were to stick around and try to control and manipulate something with a human hand or human greed, feel like it because of your human emotion, let's say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you would have stuck around, it would have that human imprint of us trying to change it or to control it. But because he left and because this person was not around, it allowed it to grow because it's a free market. So it follows the patterns of nature. It follows that spiral, that cone, the way that the supply schedule works, where it turns into like this infinitely small amount. So it just starts off in this big loop and goes smaller and smaller until it's like a point. So it's like you think of those shapes, shapes in nature, shapes you see in all around you, like in flowers and galaxies, whatever. So it's just so crazy to me that if Satoshi were around or if whoever created it stuck around, it wouldn't have allowed it to blossom, I guess, into this naturally growing thing like nature.
I think that's the perfect way to put it. I really do. Like, it definitely would not have been allowed to blossom.
I just thought of that. I never thought of that before.
Mic drop it. Just mic
Yeah,
drop. That's it.
right? I was like, I don't want to say anything else. I think that was great. I mean, we gotta, maybe I should clip that. Let's do that. Let me mark a clip. I forget to do that all the time. But yeah, it's really something that really caught me when I started watching Bitcoin, just making connections between things is something I always enjoyed doing. Going back to the MySpace thing. If you think Bitcoin is MySpace, you don't realize that Bitcoin is the first of something. Electricity started, and then from there, all these things came from electricity being created, and then from the oil. And the internet came out, and then things came from it, like MySpace and Facebook and all these other things. So it's not like something came out, it's not like fiat came out, and then Bitcoin, and then the next Bitcoin. It's like fiat was a disaster. It didn't work. Bitcoin is this new technology like fire, like oil, like something that people can create things from it. Like for example, using its heat. So people come up with applications to use from the original source that is Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining to do other things with. So we just can't imagine the way that technology will emerge.
No, and I don't think, I think thinking of it like elemental, right? Like fire, water, air, whatever, I think is, obviously these aren't human inventions. And Bitcoin is a human, it's a human invention, but it's a base layer like that, right? Like it's by base layer, I think I mean money touches everything. Money is a base layer of society. It's how we communicate value to one another while avoiding the coincidence of wants. Like this is how we communicate and transfer our time and energy into the future. And as we all know, when the money is corrupt or just broken, I guess I was gonna
Hmm.
swear,
Yeah.
but like broken is like linoleum, broken money.
Yeah.
Um, it affects every every aspect of society the same way elements can affect every aspect of nature, right? I guess
Right.
to tie a bow on that. Um, I think we all feel it, right? Everyone feels it. And the whole reason I got into, Bitcoin in the first place, I mean, it's friggin' Hail Mary. I mean, to be honest, it was at the time, it was number go up technology. And same thing with crypto too. I was chasing fiat gains, right? Now I don't, I mean, I think of the, they say the Bitcoin price. I'm just going to start calling it the Bitcoin exchange rate because you don't price euros in dollars. You say the exchange rate. Like, why are we pricing Bitcoin in dollars? Like, what are we even talking about here? The exchange rate. Like, because that's what it is. We're comparing two types of money.
Bitcoin is actually priced in the amount of energy it uses per kilowatt hour. So really, Bitcoin should cost what its energy usage is, but then it's sent to the markets, and then these exchanges sell it for what the market is asking.
Yeah, I mean, the exchange rate is whatever people are willing to exchange their fiat for sound money. The largest, most secure network that is secured by the most energy, that is freaking priceless. Like, it's backed by nature, it's backed by physics, it's backed by pure energy. No other money. It doesn't matter. Like, gold is not backed by energy. I don't I don't think gold is backed by how much energy you spend digging it up, I guess.
But you're right. But I think that gold or Bitcoin, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I had a really good idea. Damn it. ADD is the worst. Hate that. I'll think of it. We'll just continue with our thoughts here. Whoever has one first. I can't believe it. I was like, shit. My stupid brain. I like need to like write as I'm listening. Um, but yeah, no, it's just crazy that we actually have something. Oh, I think I was gonna say that the idea of it's not broke, don't fix it. So fiat was broken. That's why people migrate to Bitcoin. But Bitcoin's been working perfectly fine with no issues. So, and it has that network effect. So, if there is going to be a new crypto that says it's better than Bitcoin, people are not going to move over because it's already working. It's been working. It's fixing the issues that your original currency you were using had. It has none of those problems. So, instead of switching to another crypto, things would be built on top of Bitcoin instead of in a new protocol or a new um, chain, I guess. So that's I just think that other chains are just a playground for what will eventually be built on top of Bitcoin.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's also, like you said, Bitcoin is the money. So if there were other applications that crypto could use to, let's say, solve supply chain time, stamps and different things around the world, if they could use crypto blockchain technology to do things that would help the world be more efficient and actually verify where something came from. So you have verifiable proof and truth of where things are sourced.
See, all this other stuff is built on top of Bitcoin. Say supply chain management, everything that all these crypto companies wouldn't that yeah, okay, and all of it's settled on layer twos or whatever stack you want to build out. Doesn't it still have to settle on the main chain, and doesn't that still take up block size? And isn't that limited? I'm just trying to like second and third order effects on that. And I guess I don't know the answer because I'm not a technologist.
You're talking about Bitcoin being things being built on top of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I think it's how we can't okay, here's what my idea was. When electricity was invented, all of these things came from electricity. All these different inventions and all these different forms, ways that we use electricity came out over the years. And same thing with oil, and all these applications are used now. And it took however many years for us to get to whatever we have today from the original date of this, creation or this discovery that you could use certain things for to make other things. So with Bitcoin, it's hard to predict how this will shape and change, but I do think that as long as nothing breaks consensus, I think of it as um the cyber city where everything will get built on top of it because um you know, you just have AI today and you're not coming up with these inventions and these ideas on your own. You have the help of super intelligence to speed your discovery process way up. So just thinking of it like where the internet came from and how many years it took to get to today, or any protocol that was created to get to where it is now. And then Bitcoin is this new protocol that has so much potential, but with the help of humans in this monetary reset that we're living through and AI boom that we're going to see. It's literally the technological revolution that we're living through. So I think it's really hard to imagine because as long as consensus rules don't break, as long as you can't change the supply issuance of Bitcoin and the fixed supply of Bitcoin, things can be and will be discovered much more rapidly, I think, than ever before.
Yeah. I think Bitcoin has a huge role to play in building out that infrastructure as well, as far as being, a customer of first resort and everything for building out these the energy infrastructure needed to for these data centers, or even just building out some of the energy infrastructure in third world countries, whatnot. Like a Bitcoin miner can be shut on, turned on, turned off. It doesn't care. It can be shipped around the world in a container. It can be, powered by flared gas. It can be powered, I mean, anything, solar panel, whatever. It doesn't care how it's powered, and it can be switched on and off. So I think, Bitcoin itself just has a massive role to play in building out this infrastructure. Um, I do question just because I don't know um, how building on top of Bitcoin would work. Because let's play this out, right? If anything is data, right? That means that means like our consciousness is data. It's nothing but ones and zeros if you could digitize it, right? Everything you're seeing and hearing, I guess not the you piece, right? But like all your memory is simply data stored in your brain. Okay, then if you have a network secured by the amount of energy as Norway, um, a proof of work network, why wouldn't you just upload? Like, are we gonna mine? Like, are my grandkids gonna mine my consciousness?
I love the way this is going. This is amazing.
Right? Like, but I don't think that would be allowed, right? I don't think you can just put as much data as you want on Bitcoin, I guess is my point.
I think I don't know, I guess I know exactly what you're saying, but I think of it like again, I'm not a technologist, I'm not a coder, but I think of it like how the Liquid network and the Lightning network are working. I think of it like that because they're not like taking up a lot of space because it's a second layer. So something like that. I just think it would be however they're using Bitcoin as a second layer. I think more maybe to learn other ways to make things happen. And even as far as maybe not second layers, maybe not third layers, maybe you will use these other cryptos for solutions globally that would benefit from blockchain technology. So maybe not everything will be Bitcoin, but Bitcoin will secure your time and energy spent working. So that will secure your future and your kids' future. And that is what the protocol is meant for money and for storing your time and energy spent. So that's ultimately what I think Bitcoin is important for. And it's unchangeable and that's rare and unique and completely different from anything else. So blockchain can be used to reshape some of these things that Bitcoin doesn't have enough room for. So maybe the mining of your consciousness could be done by one of these other chains. Who knows? But will it be manipulated? You know what I
That's
mean?
the
Like, will
point.
they change your memories because it's got someone controlling it? So what I had an idea, which this is a little crazy too, is I mean, crazy thoughts, but it's nice to kind of have therapy about it with people. But I've said this before, but I think that AI scares me less because Bitcoin exists. Because if let's say an AI doesn't scare me for Bitcoin because Bitcoin has a difficulty adjustment. So even if AI were to be implemented, try to mine Bitcoin faster, it's not possible because it'll just increase its difficulty. So you can't speed time, you can't fast forward time, right? You're not able to do that. It has a, the software, the code, you can't cheat. You can't cheat the clock, pretty much. So I think that if AI as AI grows, it can get scary because you have companies and corporations with incentives that could have, let's say, subscription features, or hey, you can have this as part of your, however, AI will evolve with human possible symbiosis or something in the future. But would you want to have an AI as part of you that could eventually your kids could mine the consciousness of you if it's controlled by someone who could manipulate and change it? Or would you want the one that's maybe built into Bitcoin somehow as some sort of layer where it could protect the fact that no one can change those memories, let's say? Like, this is all
Sure.
theoretical stuff.
Yeah, 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 of course. We're fucking around here.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Crazy idea.
I mean, if it's gonna be built anywhere, I'd rather have it be built on the network that can't be changed, right? At least I
Right.
know what I'm signing up for, and they can't just, we updated our terms and conditions. Now identify as a flower or some bullshit.
Yeah,
Um,
like, you think of an episode of Black Mirror where it's like, "Oh, you get the upgrade or you're able to do this thing," but then it's like, "Oh, wait, now you have to watch commercials 8 hours a day because,
yeah,
your brain because you didn't pay the money, and we're gonna raise it every 2 months because we feel like it, and now all of a sudden you." So it just reminds me of an episode of Black Mirror. If you don't have a way that 100% that these are the rules, and then it would scare me to get some sort of AI thing, but if AI and Bitcoins have some sort of integration, then it makes me feel like Bitcoin can keep AI in check. Like,
I mean, it makes sense. Like it's keeping its network in check, right? And it's, as long as it's decentralized and immutable, and all the great features that make it Bitcoin. I like thinking also, like, on the AI tangent, like in the future, I feel like there's gonna be like the adopters and the, like, people who don't, but like they're gonna be looked at like the way we look at Amish people, but it'll be like, we don't take technology past 2020 or something like that, whenever AI was invented, because there's
mhm,
gonna, people implementing, like, yeah, Neuralink, all this other stuff,
yeah,
and there's just gonna be like the technology adopters, and they're gonna go off, and whatever science fiction's gonna happen there. And then just the people who are like, no, that's a little bit too much. I think I'm just gonna just stick it out with this. I'm just gonna leave it at the internet, right?
yeah, right. Yeah, you'll have people that just decide maybe more Amish communities would come up because they're like, "Yeah, we don't wanna do all that. That sounds crazy. We don't know what the implications of doing that are." Um, but then again, I don't know. I think it's fascinating. I think who gets the opportunity? Like, we've had all the years of human civilization ever in all of human history to live the normal way. But we're living at a time that you get to live through this and you get to experience this. So, and I know many people would be terrified of it and choose otherwise, and that's totally okay. But I find it exciting to live through this, and especially because Bitcoin exists. It's weird that I think of it that way. But
Well, yeah, I think I think I'm mostly with you. It's just, Bitcoin's like the little battery in your back pocket. That's just the way I always thought about it. Like, I'm gonna save your time and energy into the future, and no matter what kind of um, you know, technological advancements happen, I know that Bitcoin is safe and secure. Like, and I can save my time and energy that I've spent through work in this era and transfer it to, my future self, or my children, my whatever,
mhm,
right? And just having that in my back pocket has provided me with so much calm, and just, like, even just confidence as a person, and optimism for the future,
yeah,
that I don't know if I hadn't discovered Bitcoin, certainly, but then further, like, just distilled those thoughts on crypto and all the other stuff. Like, if I was still chasing the crypto casino and whatnot. Like I don't know if I would feel as confident or as optimistic in the future. Um,
No.
One, because I would see how much technology would be effing my bank account over, right? Like how bad it can, how right it, how listen, it can go very right if you're, however you want to call it. Some people call it, if you're an insider, it can go very right.
Right.
Or if you get lucky. If you're not, I mean, it can go very wrong. And, if I would have just had all that money in Bitcoin, I'd be much further ahead today, probably.
Especially it could go very wrong if you think about like the future where, hey, you need these things to be able to keep up with the pace of the world. And if you don't want to go be Amish, you need to get one of these Neuralink type things. Or, maybe if it's one of those things like I've heard that these new devices in the future could have the possibility to cure like Alzheimer's or any of these neurological diseases that are detrimental to older people. And you've seen family members go through this. And who knows what kind of health advancements it could have to be able to like cure things. So who like to be able to turn that down, or let's say to get the integration that could be the Black Mirror nightmare, or you could get the integration where you can't be fucked with.
Yeah, right. Right.
So I think there will always be ways to build, and we can't see how it'll change. Like you couldn't picture. I think Jeff Booth talks about that, which gets you thinking, but like you can't imagine how things can shift and change. And like the way you have hope, like you said, or that battery in your back pocket, or you don't feel fear, you can't picture how it's going to go, but you believe in a good future. I mean, I know some people are very like, oh, things could go. I get it. Like I'm always skeptical. I'm not going to just be thinking everything's totally perfect. You have to fight for your freedom. You have to fight for Bitcoin by using it, by spending it, by running a node, by using a lottery miner, whatever you want to do, heating your house with Bitcoin. Any way you want to use the network is something that you're doing to help it stay strong. We have the ultimate, I don't know, I don't want to call it a warrior, but like a defender, like a humongous shield for all the ways that we could have been stolen from forever, and we finally are free because of Bitcoin. Like if we didn't have this, it would be, I don't know what I would think. If we didn't have an option to escape the theft that goes on, I don't know how people have, I mean,
And I think that's why we get so passionate about, like, we call it orange pilling, but I prefer to call it educating others on this. And why I mean, at least I just feel, it's not my job to save other people, right?
mm,
But I do believe in being a good person. And I believe if I have information that can benefit somebody else, I want to share that. And I'm really passionate about finding ways that allow that information to be shared that others will understand. Because I think every single voice matters, because every single voice is going to hit somebody different. And, we all have different perspectives, right? We all didn't grow up in a bubble, in the same bubble, right? We all grew up very differently. So you don't know what voice is going to resonate with another. Really want to encourage everybody who has a voice to use it. But in that same statement, I believe everyone should use their voice. I also believe that I don't have to listen to every voice.
exactly. Oh my God, this is exactly the transition I was going to make 100% because all I could think of when you talked about bubble was be the pop that nobody saw coming. I wanted to make that transition because, writing this book, not only did you go through that process while writing the book and learning yourself, but it made you realize that when you took the time, you actually saw it and you actually realized it. So you shared that truth with other people. But even if you're kind of done repeating it to the same people in your real life that kind of don't want to hear it anymore because we've already tried with people that haven't done it yet, you're just like, why? But the fact that about the bubble, about being the bubble, the way I, go on tangents, I want to talk for you, but I want you to say it. So I want you to say how your journey led you to FUGUM because why?
um, I think we all need to exhale sometimes. The the bubble's a metaphor. A bubble is made by exhaling. You blow a bubble with gum. It's called FUGUM. right? F you gum. Like fuck you gum. Like, but it's not disrespectful. It's not meant to be like, it's just meant to be that pause. Just blow a bubble, exhale. Don't let the noise bother you. Follow the signal. Allow yourself the moment to find the clarity to find the signal. Because there's a lot of chirping voices out there. And while I support all of their right to say what they're going to say,
Hmm.
you don't have to listen to every single voice. And not every single voice is right as it pertains to you. So you know what? Fuck 'em.
Hmm.
Your vibe is sacred, and protecting your time and energy the way Bitcoin does is just so important for your mental clarity, right? My whole thing is optimized for mental clarity. And to be honest, part of that is, you know what? You just got to say fuck 'em sometimes. You just have to.
I want to know when that moment was when you thought, like in my mind, I'm thinking it was once you realized Bitcoin is it, and you heard all the chirping voices and you see all the tweets and you used to try to fight with them or waste your time doing what you were doing to tell people, no, don't listen to these guys. They're crazy. It's just like, but you know what? Like, that's why you say fuck them, because you're just like, I can't fight them all. They're all going to say stuff all the time, but I don't have to be wasting my time on it. Right. Is that kind of
Well, yeah, I think that's a great way to put it too. Everyone wants to be heard. There's a million voices that say a million infinite different things, right? Because we all do have different perspectives and we all see the world differently. But fuck 'em is for everyone because it doesn't matter. It's not about like sides or any of that. It's just about optimizing for mental clarity and taking that breath to realize, you know what, whatever is said on X, does it doesn't matter. Like, does it?
right?
Like, does it? In the grand scheme of things, and I mean, it also can give you a chuckle, right? It's just that little like, you know what, Fogum, right? And I get I don't have the actual gum to chew yet, but even just I just imagine like taking the beat, like you can even hand somebody a stick of Fogum, right? As like, hey, you know, I don't need to say it. Here, have a piece of gum. My gum's gonna say it for me. Or just the act of unwrapping that wrapper, seeing Fugum and just being like, you know what, this isn't worth the air in my bubble. Fugum. Like, forget it. Like, just let it go. Let it go like a bubble. Just let it go and float
Yeah.
away. Um,
It's such a good lesson, like, even just a life lesson. It's a life lesson that I think you don't learn until you get older, and maybe some people never learn. And so it's really the memes, the GIFs, the title, the company name, it was born from an idea. And the website and the merch has come, and people love the meme. They resonate with it. And it's definitely something that I want to teach my kids to say that or think that way, because you don't have to let every little thing ruin your day. You don't have to let it ruin your vibe, like you said, like lower your energy. You can believe in who you are and be confident and just let it go. Like you said, like let the bubble go. Don't allow things to bring you down, because bringing your energy down is something that, okay, this is cool. Just like how Bitcoin people make the argument that I can't hold it, I can't touch it, it's not something tangible, but it's energy and it's real. Just like how somebody can mess with your energy and make you feel depressed because of the way they walk into a room and take you down,
exact.
or they can raise your vibe by being positive and energetic and happy. That can change your energy. So you can't touch that, but you can feel it. It's real. So your energy is just as real as Bitcoin is. It's just not something in your hands, but energy is everywhere. So Bitcoin is the same thing. It's something that more people need to learn how to do. And it reminds me of the wisdom I always say, George, obviously George from, he's with us on Hive Mind, my husband. But sometimes I would tell him a story prior to being a Bitcoiner because I feel like I've changed. But I used to tell him a story about something that happened to me during the day. And I used to kind of like keep repeating it, keep like almost like getting therapy about it, but talking about it again and bringing it up again. He was like, "Why are you doing that to yourself? You're just reliving it every time you talk about it.
Yes.
You're torturing yourself." So it's like, let it go. It happened. Move on.
Like I use this analogy a lot. But yeah, you're talking about like the ruminating on it and just listen, there's nothing wrong with feeling whatever you're feeling. Feel it completely and then move on. And the way I always explain it is like if you're driving a vehicle, right? If you're driving a car down a freeway, do you notice every single tree that comes by you? No. Do you notice every car? No, you probably notice none of them. And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, you get focused on one car or one thing. Your consciousness is like the driver, right? You're driving it, and then all of a sudden you decide to focus on one thing for whatever reason. And we just need to be more like just letting the things pass through us and experiencing them fully and not getting stuck on one idea or one emotion and getting trapped in that moment forever.
I love this. This reminds me of because gum, like FUGUM, is sticky. It's
Yeah.
gum.
Yeah.
So instead of sticking to you as it's passing through you, it'll stick to your bubble and then you pop it and then you
Yeah.
get rid of it.
Perfect. Yeah. Life's too short to let the bad vibes stick. Like legit.
Exactly. That is literally your, oh my God, that's so funny how you're talking about this now because that's exactly what your website says. That's what your slogan is. It's just, that's amazing because when you think of it that way, yeah, you're just kind of like getting rid of it. It's like but you experience it, you see it, you just move on and don't let it stick to you. That's amazing.
Exactly. And then you just go on with your life and the next thing is gonna come and it's gonna whatever. But when we start reacting and reliving these moments and letting these moments weigh us down, like I think there's a much freer way to live life unencumbered by the past. Just let it go. Learn from it, take your lessons, have your beautiful memories. But we seem to hold so much in, right? And I just think something as simple as the analogy of a bubble, just whatever it is, bug them.
I think before people find Bitcoin, I mean, I don't know, as Bitcoiners, we think it's like a cure all for like everything because it's amazing. But prior to finding Bitcoin, you're way too stressed about everything to embrace the FUGA mentality. Once you become a Bitcoiner and you stop worrying about everything in the world, you're not stressed beyond belief about your future. And you have that sense of hope when things do come your way, you already have this bubble like a shield of energy protecting you.
Yeah,
And then when things come your way, you don't have them stick to you because you have a layer of protection now. You have Bitcoin. So I think it's easier to embrace FUGUM as a Bitcoiner and FUGUM accepts Bitcoin, which is amazing.
it's like the technology of being able to use Bitcoin as a medium of exchange now is just phenomenal. Like, okay, so I came like last night just came up. I really like the design of the life's too short to let bad vibes stick. Um,
Mhm.
so I did that yesterday, and you know what? I'm like, okay, I want a shirt and a mug and a hat with that on because I this is my company. I'm gonna wear this shit. I shouldn't say that. This is
No,
my
you know what? We all do. It's okay.
this is my company. I'm gonna wear this stuff.
Yeah.
So I like bought it with Bitcoin. Like, right? It's so you just go on strike, right?
Love
Just
it.
you so the website chewfugum.com just brings up the in checkout you can hit pay with Bitcoin, brings up a QR code, you scan it with Strike or whatever, done. Like literally 30 seconds. Yeah, that one.
I did it.
It, look at that.
Chewfugum.com. Life's too short to let the bad right. That's literally like amazing that you just made that last night and we just had this, or at least me, thinking of driving and things passing you by, not sticking to you. Um, I always knew that like that saying was awesome, but it's just thinking of it that way, not like allowing your consciousness to zone in on one thing and just be obsessed with it and letting it just ruin your energy. But this is cool. I love all the colors. So what else do you have here? You have the hoodie version.
So the stickers, the magnets, the hoodies, like all of it.
I love the whole idea like this. It just means like all these gray people just sad, this is you right here. And it's I just love this one. It's just all the stuff. I have this phone case. Check it out. Look, that's mine.
What? That's awesome.
Got it.
That's awesome.
This is amazing. It's such a cool idea because it's something that people need in their life. Like, you need this mentality in your life. You need this. And don't they say that even when it comes to consciousness and the way your brain, I like thinking about it as data, like your memories and all that stuff, but like your mind is linked to senses like smell and taste and sound and stuff like that. So FUGUM is literally like reminding your senses whenever you do it, you know, like whenever you have that moment, you're like, oh yeah. And then you do it again. You're like, oh yeah, that's the feeling of not caring so much. And you get brought back to that moment by smelling the gum, tasting the gum, and hearing the pop. Like if you blow a bubble, you're just like, it's all the senses kind of
Right? And
bringing you back.
so if you can put yourself or like identify that with a calm state, just the act of tasting, smelling, any sense. Well, like it's almost Pavlovian. Instead of like Pavlov's dogs drooling, like Stacy chills the fuck out. Or like
Mhm.
lets it go. Whatever.
I
And
didn't I've heard that before, but I didn't know what it meant, but I think I already know what you mean by comparing it to the,
yeah, no. So Pavlov's dogs, right? He operant conditioning, he taught his dogs to drool by ringing a bell.
Oh,
He'd ring
yes.
the bell, give them food, they drool, so they associated the bell with food. So if
Do
you
you
can
remember in The Office? Did you watch that Office episode?
it's not coming to mind right now, but
Jim was making a sound like with a bell every time he
yeah,
would get Dwight to take a mint. And
yes,
then,
yes,
then
yeah,
when he made a ding, then Dwight did it. And he's like, what do you want? And he's like, oh, I don't know why I'm doing that. Like he just didn't
yeah,
realize that is what that is. I didn't know. Okay.
yeah. This op it's either I think it's operant conditioning,
Hmm.
operant or cat classical can I forget. Either way, but yeah, if like what if gum could do that? I don't know. Maybe it can. I'm pretty sure anything can. You just need the right association.
What if the person next to you, like if you're around somebody like your spouse or your not my spouse doesn't get angry, but I'm just saying some people's spouses get no, just like my mom or who knows. But if they like hear the rapper unwrapping every time like something's annoying you, and then they, they could smell like you could smell someone's gum if they're sitting right next to you. You could smell it. So maybe like every time they annoy you and you just do that, they're like, oh, okay, they're just gonna chill out now. Like you
Yeah,
don't even have to
yeah,
say
that.
it. You know, they're done with this conversation. I know. Fun. I love thinking of it that way.
But yeah, I mean, anytime you can form some type of association with something, and a positive reward or behavior, your brain will make associations, and you can just condition dogs to drool or a bunch of other stuff. I mean, think of the Coke can on the commercial, right? Or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, it's all just, I don't know. Oh, I'll talk psychology all day. I love this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I like that stuff too because I think the mind is like even though I'm not a coder, I find code fascinating and I find data fascinating and I think networks are fascinating and I think brains are like organic computers and I think that's super interesting. Even the pattern of a brain, when you think of I don't know the way like lightning or even when you look at what are those things that you see at like the science museums where you put your fingers on it and all the sparks
Yeah,
touch your
yeah,
finger?
yeah, yeah. Those balls
Yeah.
where you touch it and then like all the electricity goes towards your finger. I
Yeah.
forget what
I
it's
just
called.
feel like the way the threads all spread out, like the way your neurons connect and the way that you see designs and like spider web or, just like different, mm, I don't know, nodes in a network. I don't know, all these things. I feel like they're all similar, and I think that stuff is all fascinating to kind of compare.
Yeah, for sure. Like this, so these are these are all my notes from spaces. This is like all my notes from when I did spaces, and it's all psychology. So to me, this looks like a new book.
Yeah. That could be,
Yeah, this the psychology of Bitcoin right there. That's all my notes. Um,
Wow, that's actually really cool because you actually have documentation from that's awesome. You did that from day one from your first space?
yep.
That's amazing.
I took notes preparing for every single one of them.
You were hosting spaces every Friday for how long? Like, how many spaces do you think you had? Or when did you start?
20 plus or minus. I forget.
Okay.
I have them all saved on my computer. I guess I could look at the date, but yeah.
Yeah. And you were doing these for hours, you guys went for hours of these spaces. Sometimes there would be your space would be called it would be after consciousness. So was it called
Proof of consciousness.
proof of consciousness?
So it was a play on proof of work, right? So we were just thinking about Bitcoin philosophy and psychology, but I don't know. I thought I already have these ideas. I can just break them down a little further, put them into a book digestible format.
Yeah, I think that'd be amazing because it's if you're into the whole psychology and you love that aspect of it, obviously proof of consciousness is what you enjoy talking about. So having all those notes, yeah, you could definitely it's definitely a great part too. To be like Bitcoin, not crypto, and here's
Yeah,
psychology behind it.
yeah, yeah. Like
That's such a great sequel.
yeah, I don't know. I've been toying with the idea of whether or not I want to start it's finding the time obviously, but I don't know, I think it could be a fun adventure to go down because it's just really interesting to me. And I think we all say Bitcoin changes you, um, because it absolutely does. We all say, or I guess I can't speak for everyone, but often say that you know, that it's more than money, right? Bitcoin is money, but like having sound money does something to the person and frees them up. Like this is just going down the rabbit hole of just mimetic ideas, how ideas spread, just the different avenues was just very fulfilling and rewarding. I think there's a lot that can be passed on. Um,
I
and
think that would be a very interesting book.
yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe someone else will release it tomorrow, and well,
Yeah,
that's
you
fine.
never know. But also, do you ever think that you would want to do it again in the future?
Like I said, everyone, I support everyone having a voice, but I don't need to listen to everyone.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, that's all.
Well, it can get overwhelming, because doing spaces, I hosted spaces for a short time. My spaces were kind of random. They were more paranoid based anarchy spaces, but I had a really fun time doing it. But there were times where, you know, y- you hold the space because you do all this preparation, you have these topics, you have these things you want to discuss and talk about. You're putting in work ahead of time, so you want to go over these certain ideas, and it kind of reminds you more of a podcast, like what I'm doing, because we have a talk. We're actually discussing something, and it seems like sometimes spaces can get like the signal can get distorted, when you want to talk about this thing and you have certain people up, but when everyone thinks that yes, every voice, it's great to have every voice be heard, but anybody could start a space whenever they want and name it whatever they want and have anyone join them at any time. So it's everyone's choice to do that whenever, and I think that, um, you realizing that you could do these things, but not have to waste your time. Again, like save your time, you save it in Bitcoin, you save your time in real life. You don't want to waste it by, um, I don't know, bad energy, I guess. I think
Yeah.
sometimes that happens, so
Yeah, so like I do agree with I don't know. Like I'm not naive. So I think to run a good space, it can't be about you. And you know what? Like it's I want it to be about me. Like I want it to be about the things I want to talk about.
right,
I
yeah,
want to talk about what I want.
yeah. Well, that's how I was.
You know what I mean? And that's not necessarily what a good space host does. And maybe that's not my role. And that's fine. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Um,
You're right, 'cause I think you're right, because I think spaces are the platform where you are hosting it and you're allowing anyone to come up and share any of their thoughts, but I don't know, I think that I love hearing people talk, but then when I'm done, like, if I join a space and I feel like, "Okay, I've heard enough," because sometimes, like, somebody might have something to say and you listen for a while, but you might be like, "Alright, I've heard enough of that specific thing." So then you just choose to move on, but as the host, you have to stay there. But I think that's why the podcast thing is nice. That's why talking to people is nice. Maybe you'd be enjoying doing a podcast of your own. Who knows? But I think that doing our podcast is great, and being able to get together there and share thoughts and talk is very fun. So if you do something you enjoy, that's all that matters.
yeah, yeah. And I think more of a small just group of speakers for an audience is just more my speed. Um, just because like I said, I just want to talk about the things I want to talk about. Right. And it is a skill, and it is a muscle to be able to, have, a room like that. And I think many were extremely successful, and just others got sidelined and railroaded. And like, it was all a great experience. Again, it's just like, it's my time and energy. It's my Friday night. I was actually just thinking this week, like, just muscle memory. It's Tuesday already, so we're recording this on a Tuesday. Already, I started thinking about the next one, and I started thinking, well, I got to start getting my notes ready. I got to start, preparing and getting stuff. Tomorrow's Wednesday already.
Yeah.
Um, right? Like, I got a whiteboard here in my office, and I used to have notes scribbled. I'm like, oh, I got to get these done before Friday because I work until a certain time. And now I have kind of like an energy release. I feel like freed up to do,
Whatever you feel like.
yeah, I can do what I want to do. And not that I didn't want to do it. Like, I don't want to make it sound like that. Um,
Mhm.
it's just like,
It's like when you're planning a wedding. I think when I felt like this after a wedding, like after our wedding, and a lot of people feel this way once you're like you're always planning something, and then when the wedding's over, you're like, what do I do now?
yeah, it's like, Christmas is coming up, I guess, like, as a kid, but or like a vacation, like,
Yeah.
I spent, like, so much time just thinking about, like, the Chicago meetup and stuff, right?
Mhm.
And even that was just, like, 3 weeks. We're just, like,
I know, yeah.
and just kinda, like, picked a week, and it was like, just boom, let's go.
And that was the week you didn't hold your space, right? That was the one Friday.
I don't think I did it. I just think I skipped.
That's awesome. You're like, "I'm on vacation, I'm going to visit my friends in Chicago." That was awesome. Yeah, and see, it's not like you were tied down, you're like, "I can't, I have my Friday space." You just took that week off and visited, and it was awesome.
I was still gonna do it, but I just so happened that I had to pick Jeeves up from the airport at the same time.
I think I remember you saying that. I thought you
Yeah.
were still going to try, and then that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, I was, and then I'm like, "Well, I can't just meet Jeeves at the airport and then, like, throw him on a space, like, 'Hey, everyone, here's Jeeves, like, I just wanna hang out with my boy here for a minute,'" you know?
Mhm. Yeah, like, no getting to know each other in person. Let's just get right on spaces like we're still online together, so
Yeah, right? Yeah.
that's so funny. But I am so glad. I love that you guys came out. I feel like it was just yesterday, it was only whatever, a couple weeks ago. But look how quick it came and how quick it went. It's insane. So, but it would be fun to do more of that stuff and do more, go to more meetups, have more meetups. So we definitely have to do that again. It was so cool meeting you guys. And it's awesome having you on Hive Minded. I do plan on recording this week. So plan on being there on Sunday.
I'll be there.
And I will try to, I like the live streaming aspect of it. I think that is fun.
Think so.
We are still working out some glitches as far as 2 platforms to live stream, but I think for the most part, at least we have one. So we're doing YouTube for now. But it's been so great having you on and just to talk to you about all this cool stuff. I mean, I'm glad we took that I don't know what you would call that, but I think it's that wonder journey that we took about how the future would look. But yeah, it's all like speculation and how we think things will go. But it was fun. It was fun talking about that. And I love hearing about how being a Bitcoiner led to FUGUM, like that mentality, and it's awesome. So Thank you so much. Thanks for your creativity and coming up with these ideas and sharing that vibe with people.
Yeah, right on. I appreciate you having me. Um, yeah, give me the floor for a minute. I appreciate it. Great time.
Yeah. And we should do it another time. So whenever you feel like talking about any certain topics you want to share, if you have notes you've been saving up and want to do another podcast, feel free to join me back again. We can do a consciousness episode if you want.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. I'll see you again soon. We'll see you on the next Hive Minded.
High-minded. Sounds great.
Yep.
Appreciate
All
you.
right. Thank
Thank
you so much. Take care. Have a good night.
you too. Bye.
Thank you.